There's no getting away from it. If you look online, if you look in some of the drugstores, if you look at the high-end high streets, if you watch a lot of YouTube videos like these sort of ones, or you follow Instagram, there is so much skincare out there. And some of it can be really expensive. Do you actually need to spend a lot on skincare? Really? Hey guys, welcome to the channel. If you're new here, I'm Bear Clark. For new videos every single week, don't forget to hit subscribe. The skincare market is huge, and in 2019 the overall spend just for men in skincare was around about $53.9 billion. It's a massive market, and you can't go anywhere without noticing that all of the big names are all in on it now, whereas years and years ago it used to be very difficult to find a men's only skincare brand. I think one of the first big names was Clinique. I remember they brought out their silver and white range, their 1, 2, 3 step years and years ago. But nowadays, of course, L'Oreal and every major skincare brand is producing men's skincare. You've never had a larger choice, but also there's never been the opportunity to spend more than there is now. A survey in the UK in 2019 showed that the 2/3 of the men who replied to the survey said they spent on average £760 per year on grooming products, which sounds like quite a lot. I don't know how much I spend, and I would probably be too scared to add it up, and certainly wouldn't admit to it. But £760 is a lot of money. It's a lot of money to spend. Now, this talks about grooming, so this also includes things like your hair care and getting your hair cut and other bits and pieces. So it's not just on skincare, but the skincare component with all the different products that people buy do add up. But do they need to add up? Do we need to be spending 50, 60, 70 pound on moisturiser or more? Do we need to spend 30, 40 pounds on our cleanser, etc.? That's what I want to discuss today. Now, one of the great things I found with starting this YouTube channel is I kind of expected a lot of the viewers to be similar to myself, middle-aged white guys, and just wanting general advice to look better. But in actual fact, my subscriber base and the number of people that chat to me on Instagram is across a wide spectrum, from late teens into 50s and 60-year-olds, across all the different skin tones and nationalities. And also I've also got quite a lot of female viewers. Now, some of those are just because they particularly want skincare advice for themselves, but a lot of the time it's because they're looking for their partners, their boyfriends, their the husbands, etc., to get into skincare, and they just don't know where to start. And it's understandable, because if you've not used skincare before and you decide, actually, do you know what, I've seen these adverts, and I really probably want to look after myself. I'm in my 20s, 30s. Maybe I should look after my skin a little bit more. If you go into Google, you go into YouTube, you start looking at men's skincare, there's so much to choose from, and the prices can really scare you. Now, chances are, because of the way YouTube highlights certain celebrities and certain content providers that see the more revenue, if you go in and you type in sort of men's skincare routine, you're unlikely to find a small YouTuber like myself talking about honest reviews. You're more likely to find a celebrity, a footballer or a singer or somebody like that, showing you their routine, showing them spending 45, 50 minutes doing it, using extremely expensive products, which a lot of the time they've been sponsored to do or just given, and they've probably never used it before anyway. So it is confusing. So we've all got different lives. Some of you may be at uni or college, some of you may work for full-time, some of you may be retired, some of you are struggling to find jobs. Unfortunately, at the moment with the pandemic, there might be quite a few of you that are furloughed or even, unfortunately, lost their jobs, and my heart goes out to you if you're in that sort of situation. So we've all got different backgrounds. So the real question is, do you need to spend a lot on your skincare? The answer is no, you don't. But there are some caveats to that, and I'll explain why. So the first thing I would say is avoid buying on convenience. Now, convenience is the great lie when it comes to marketing. So many people will buy things based on convenience. Okay, convenience food. They'll buy gadgets that just make their life easier. So they buy on convenience, and it's convenient to walk into your local drugstore and go, okay, women's. Okay, here's a little section for men, moisturiser. Yeah, fine. Yeah, that sounds like what I need, and just stick it in the basket and buy it. Don't buy on convenience. Do a little bit of research. Watch channels like mine and others by people like Hiram and James Welsh. Mad About Skin is really good as well. There's lots of information from genuine YouTubers out there that can help you. But do a little bit of research. Find out what works for you, is going to work for your skincare, what you need to do, and within the budget you're willing to spend. So if you think about it, there's three basics for your skincare, okay? So everything else, all the other bits and pieces, just build on top. There are three basics. You need to clean, you need to moisturize, and you need to protect. Those are the three basics. If you've got those three basics covered, you're golden. If you never use a serum, a toner, an essence, a mask, a sheet mask, a toning spray, a spritzer, an under eye cream, spot treatment, if you never even use any of those in your life, that's fine. If you cleanse, if you moisturize, and if you protect, you've done what you need to do, and you don't need to spend a fortune doing it. So let's look at a cleanser. Now, a cleanser has a very, very basic job to do. It basically gets the crap off your face, okay? So whether that is you're waking up in the morning and you've got sweat and detritus, bits, skin that's sloughing off during the night, those sort of things, you need to wash your face off and get a good start to the day. Or it could be at the end of the day when you want to get rid of the work, you've want to take off your skincare products that maybe you've had during the day, especially your sunscreen, or if you wear makeup, obviously you want to clear all your makeup to give your skin some chance to breathe. So you just need a cleanser, and you don't need anything too crazy. There are plenty of cleansers around, some of which are in the drugstore, which are easy enough to use. Now, one of the ones that I see an awful lot referred to in a lot of other channels is the CeraVe face washes. Now, I'm going to do a separate video about CeraVe and particularly about their face washes, but from my point of view, I don't really like them. I don't think they do a particularly good job. They're reasonable, and the price is good, but there's much better, I feel, that you can get at that sort of price point. So for types of cleansers, there are several different types of cleansers. So you've got your foaming cleansers, which are generally speaking more aimed towards people with particularly oily skin. A foaming cleanser is something you should avoid if you're particularly dry skin, because it can over dry your skin, overstrip your skin of the oils that it's got. But a foaming cleanser is great for if you have fairly oily skin, particularly suitable to youngsters or young guys that have got quite a lot of sebum production. So gel cleansers are your mid area of your skin. Therefore, the people with normal skin or for combination skin, they're a great bet. They're not going to be so strong they overstrip your skin, but they're also not going to be particularly hydrating or supportive of a dry skin. So as the majority of people have probably got combination skin, then a gel cleanser usually does the trick. And cream or milky cleansers are best suited to dry skin. If you're not entirely sure what your skin type is, I would suggest you go for a gel cleanser. It's going to cover all the bases, and if after using that for a while you feel, actually, do you know what, my face is still just a little bit oily, or my face is still a bit overly dry after I've cleaned, then by all means you can go and get yourself a more dedicated cleanser for your skin type. But a gel cleanser is a great place to start. So don't spend much on your cleanser. Bear in mind that your cleanser goes on, you're going to wet your hands, wet your face, put your cleanser in your hands, distribute it around your face, massage it across your face for 60 seconds and wash it off. You don't need all the bits and pieces. You don't need cleansers with hyaluronic acid if you've got acne, you can have a cleanser with salicylic acid, but you don't need hyaluronic acid, you don't need niacinamide, you don't need multipeptides, you don't need all the other bits and pieces. Just a basic cleanser will do. I recommend the Recipe for Men Raw Naturals Glacier Water Face Cleansing Fluid. It's quite a mouthful. This stuff is great. It smells terrific. It does a great job of cleaning. You feel really clean. Your skin feels invigorated without being stripped. And it's £10 on eBay. It's an absolute bargain. I love this stuff. I'd recommend it if you're new to skincare. As a guy and you think, I just want a cleanser, but I don't, this is the one I would suggest you go for. This is your go-to to start with. You can start experimenting with more specific or more expensive cleansers, but this is the one I would recommend you start with. It's brilliant. A moisturiser is where I suggest you spend the bulk of your money. The moisturiser is going to be an emollient and an humectant. It's going to be something that brings the hydration into your skin but also locks it in, prevents you from having transepidermal water loss. So basically what it does is it helps bring in the moisture into your skin and then lock it into place. There are so many different types of moisturisers out there, it's absolutely bonkers, and it's a minefield if you don't know what you're looking for. I've bought skincare and used skincare for many years. I've obviously reviewed dozens and dozens of different products, and even I sometimes pick up something I think, what? I have to read the ingredients, read what they say about it, and it takes me a while to figure out what the hell this product is and if it's worth my time and effort and money. So moisturisers are where you can look for having something in to add in there, something like squalene, or glycerin, or you can have hyaluronic acid in your serum, in your moisturisers as well, to help with the plumping factor and help retain more moisture within the skin. So you can spend a little bit more, but you don't have to spend a fortune. The most obvious choice if you're on a tight budget is the moisturising factor with HA from The Ordinary, which is about £5 or £6. It is crazy cheap. If you really are on a tight budget, if you're struggling with money, if you want to get away from some of the crappy drugstore moisturisers and you want to use something which is tried and true and has thousands of positive reviews and plenty of skincare vloggers like myself praising it, then go for The Ordinary. It is a great product at a ridiculously cheap price. Personally, when I'm looking at a moisturiser, I tend to go a little bit more. I tend to look around about the 12 to £15 mark, and there are quite a few of the Korean moisturisers that I love. You guys know I'm always raving about Korean skincare, but there'll be separate videos for those. One that I've tried recently, which I've just put it back in the box just to keep it away from heat and sunlight, is the Fade Out. I think this is about a tenner or so, and this was an impulse buy on Amazon. I will do a full review of that at a later date, but that's also got SPF in it, so which I'll come back to it in a minute. And that's a great moisturiser. But any Korean moisturiser, chances are you're going to be golden. But if you're unsure, if money's tight, go for the Ordinary, and then work on from there. Now, sunscreen, as I say, if you're on a tight budget, you may want to use a product that includes your SPF. There are plenty of them on the market. A popular choice includes the CeraVe facial moisturising lotion with SPF 25. I don't like this. Review coming shortly. I don't like this, but to be fair, it's recommended by a lot of my colleagues in the skincare enthusiast community, so yeah, that's just my personal opinion. I'm not too keen on it. The Cica Blast from La Roche-Posay, the B5 plus SPF, there's a B5 and a B5 with SPF, is a very good product. It's probably too heavy for a lot of people, particularly if you've got oily skin, but again, it's a very good quality product, and I think it's about £8 or £9, so it's a bargain. And then the other one I mentioned was this Fade Out, which is as I say, full review coming soon, but this has been a little surprise to me, because an impulse buy on Amazon, I'm terrible for impulse buying on Amazon, I'm an absolute nightmare, but it's again a fairly thick cream, but nowhere near as thick as say the CeraVe or the La Roche-Posay Cica Balm. So that's something to bear in mind, that with sunscreen, a lot of them can have a white cast, including the ones that are included within your moisturiser. So that's something you're going to have to be aware of, particularly if you have a darker skin tone. Now, I personally always recommend you wear a separate sunscreen. Now, why do I do that when there's products that are available with SPF? Well, the amount of SPF in a moisturiser is really quite small. If you think about the amount of moisturiser you use on your face, it's usually only a P or a little bit above a P size that you're putting across your face. The SPF is just a small amount of that moisturising product, so you're getting a tiny amount on your face, and the SPF is usually very low anyway, like you can get 15 or 25%, 25 SPF, and it's not very high. It's okay if you're working in an office, if it's winter time and you just want to use a very low SPF, or even if you want to use a moisturiser with an SPF of 25 or over, it's fine for when you're indoors. But if you're outside a lot of the time, if you're traveling, if you work outside, particularly if it's sunny, you must wear a separate sunscreen, because in actual fact, if you read the scientific literature, the amount of sunscreen you need to use is about a tablespoon, which is quite a lot. If you get a tablespoon and squirt that with suntan lotion, that's actually quite a lot. So what I tend to do is I put on one layer, leave it for a few minutes, and I put on a second layer just to be safe. I mean, somebody like Hiram, for instance, will talk about he'll multi-layer his sunscreen, but then bear in mind he lives in Hawaii, I live in Great Britain, so the sun and weather is a little bit different between the two climates. So during the amazing summer that we've been going through in the UK at the moment, my go-to has been the Cosrx Aloe Soothing Sun Cream. This is SPF 50 PA+++, great protection factor. It is a fairly thick consistency, as you'd expect, but nowhere near as thick as a general sunscreen. If I was to go into the local supermarket, or if I go into a local drugstore and get a sunscreen, greasy, and I hate it. I hate UK and European and US sunscreen. I will only, at the moment, until somebody shows me otherwise, I will only use the Korean sunscreen. So this is around about, I think this was £8. I bought several of these at once from yesstyle.com, which is where I buy virtually all of my Korean skincare products. I'm not sponsored by them, I'm not linked, I'm not affiliate or anything. It's just I find them very easy to find the products I want at a very good price. That will do you golden. It's very little white cast, but it does the job. It protects the skin. It's very easy to use. It soaks in nicely on the skin. There's no greasy look to it. I love the stuff. So if you choose the products that I've mentioned today, if you choose, say, for instance, that you wash with the raw naturals, if you use a moisturiser from The Ordinary, and if you follow it up with a good quality Korean sunscreen, you're looking at probably a tenner a month, give or take, because a lot of these will this will go through quite quick because I apply a couple on a hot sunny day, so you do get through it fairly quick, but the others will easily last you 3 months. So £10 a month is not an awful lot of money, so you're nowhere near looking at this £760 that the survey earlier quoted. Things like toners can be added at a later date. I personally really like using a toner. I can't imagine doing a skincare routine that doesn't have a toner in it. But again, you don't have to spend a fortune. La Roche-Posay do some nice toners around £10. There are Korean toners which are amazing. Bear in mind, it's easy to get confused when you look at the Koreans between a toner and an essence. Generally speaking, the essence will have a fermented ingredients and be quite a bit more, but you can get some great toners from Korea as well. Again, Cosrx, Innisfree. There are a couple that instantly come to mind and I've used a lot of. If you want to add actives to your skincare, then The Ordinary or Revolution or the Inky List are perfect because they have good quality basic brand items that you can add in. So once you've got your 3 basics down, if you then think, well, I've got a bit of hyperpigmentation or a little bit of excess sebum, well, go and spend £10 and get yourself an Ordinary niacinamide plus zinc and use that once a day. Or if you feel like you need a little bit more moisture, if you haven't got hyaluronic acid in your moisturiser, you can always go and buy that, as I say, about a tenner from the Ordinary Revolution or the Inky list. Though bear in mind that it's now becoming quite common for people to have a sensitivity to too much hyaluronic acid. So if you've got hyaluronic acid in your moisturiser, I would suggest that you don't need to add it as a serum, because there's a chance that you could be using too much and you actually might, I'm not necessarily saying damage your skin, but you won't get the results in your skincare that you're looking for. And one that I particularly recommend if you're starting to see the signs of wrinkles is Matrixyl, which Revolution do a serum of Matrixyl, 10% I think it is, which is £10. So depending on what you want to add into your skincare at a later date, £10 for a serum. It's, again, the little bottles, you're only using a couple of drops every single day, easily last you 3 months. You'll just put a couple of pound a month onto your overall spend on skincare, but it'll be well worth it. So no, you don't need to spend a fortune on expensive skincare. Yes, I do sometimes treat myself to some luxury skincare. I might sometimes spend a little bit of extra money just as a little bit of a treat, or I might ask my wife to get something for me as Christmas or birthday present, which is a bit more than I would usually spend day to day. So it's nice to treat yourself, but it isn't necessary. You don't need to go and spend £220 Augustinus Bader moisturiser, which I will be trialling soon. Very, very expensive moisturiser. I'm trying it, so you don't have to at that price. So by all means splurge occasionally, but it's really not necessary if you get the 3 basics down. I would say it's more important than looking at the money you're spending on your skincare is how and when you use it, because you've got to do it regularly. It's a bit like, skincare's a bit like a gym, okay? You think to yourself, I want to get in shape, I want to get some more muscle, I want to lose fat, whatever. Pay a fortune to subscribe monthly to a gym. You go to a gym, you buy all the kit, you buy all, you buy the bodybuilding magazines, you buy the gloves, you get all the outfits. You go in, you hit it hard for a couple of weeks, and you're a bit knackered, and then you think, I'll give myself a couple of days off, and then I might go again. And before you know it, it's been 6 weeks since you've been to the gym. Your body likes consistency. It adapts. Your body will constantly adapt, in a good way or a bad way, depending on what you're doing to it, but it will constantly adapt. So what you want to do is get into a skincare routine. There's a reason we call it a skincare routine. It's because you need to do it routinely. It's no good on a Sunday evening spending an hour doing all your different routine and using great products on your face if for the rest of the week you do sod all. You want to do something consistently. You've got to wash and moisturize and protect your skin in the morning, and you've got to wash and moisturize and or treat your skin in the evening, day in, day out. It takes the brain around 6 weeks for something to become habitual, so stick with it, get into that routine, and it just becomes second nature. So many guys are put off getting into skincare and looking after their skin and building a routine because it can seem so expensive. So I hope today I've put your mind at rest a little bit, that you can get great results for a fairly minimum spend as long as you choose the right products and you use them regularly. So I hope you found this video useful. If you did, if you're new here, or if you're one of the many people that watch my videos but haven't yet subscribed, I hope today is the day that I've earned your subscription, that you want to support what I do, and will take a moment to hit subscribe and click the notification bell for more videos every single week. Also, don't forget to come and see me over on Instagram. Follow me at Men's Grooming Advice. I post plenty of reviews and tips and tricks on Instagram. If you've got any particular questions, or if there's particular products you want to see me review, or if you need some help or advice, or just generally want to chat, you can DM me on Instagram. I read and reply to every single message, and it'd be great to hear from you. I've been Bear Clark, you've been amazing, and I'll see you again real soon.